Hello, everybody. Welcome to the next New Earth Teachings. I know it's been a while since I've done New Earth Teachings Facebook Live, but I just want to welcome you all. And here I am in my new place in Salt Spring Island. This is the cabin, the cottage that I'm in right now for about 4 months. And then I'll be looking for another place after that time. But just really been enjoying the beautiful weather here in Salt Spring. Of course, now it's the evening. Had a beautiful sunny day and just really enjoying all of the nature that Salt Spring Island has to offer. So anyways, I want to thank you all for being here. And tonight we're going to be talking a lot about universal healing. And so basically what's going to lead to the segue of this is that the weekend after next, which will be, let me double check my dates since I'm not good with them, February 17th and February 18th, there is going to be a Universal Energy Healing Weekend webinar. So on Saturday, the 17th, I will be presenting energy seals. And this will be kind of an advanced aspect of light circuitry. It will also be looking into a lot of the ancient aspects relating to seals. It will also work together with emotional energy, how to place your emotional energy in seals, being able to put them together, and being able to do advanced forms of energy healing, working with these seals. We're also looking to talismans as well, and of course more into light circuitry. So it's going to be a very, very advanced presentation. Again, astral technology will also be visited in this presentation, so we're going to have a lot of fun looking into these advanced methods of universal energy healing. Then, of course, on Sunday, my friend Jason Quitt is going to do his own presentation on universal energy healing. If you guys are not familiar with Jason, you can go to his website. It's www.thecrystalsun.com. I actually bought these just last year when I was in Japan, and I ordered them. And when I came home, I got them. But these are just some of the pillars, I guess you could say, or the rods that you can use. The name of the metal escapes me, or the mineral, I should say, escapes me. I believe it's shungite, I think. And they're incredibly powerful. Basically, I've been using them off and on now for about a year. And when I have used them, the energy is just immense. You can just feel this surge of chi flowing through your hands. And it's like your whole body is just being reworked on. So they're a very, very powerful energy rod conductor. But Jason is going to be presenting Universal Energy Healing on the 18th of February. And so for you guys to check this out and to register, just go to newearthteachings.com. You'll find both posters there on the homepage, and you can purchase both of the presentations for $33. And so again, there's my presentation on Saturday and Jason's presentation on Sunday. So again, this is the weekend webinar of Universal Energy Healing. So I'm really looking forward to it. This is also the first two webinars that will be for the New Earth Academy. And so the New Earth Academy is coming together right now. I am starting to work on the website. I also have another friend of mine who's helping me along the way with working on the website, and it is going to be very much like a Netflix clone. But there's also going to be access to weekly classrooms, and those weekly classrooms are probably going to be starting between March or April. So we're not too sure exactly on the exact date yet, but between March and April, I'm just working to get a lot more video content contained on the site as well too. And then eventually I'll be calling in some teachers, and some teachers can also start to upload about 20 to 60 minute videos, and of course they will be getting paid for it as well too. So that's the plan over the next couple months here, is to get a lot of content going. New Earth Academy, I am looking to get that going strong, almost as strong as like Gaia in that way, Gaia.com. But like I said, it's all about underground and grassroots teachings as well too. Very organic flow in that way. And I think it has a lot of promise to it. But this is where I'm looking to put a small group together who are just passionate in bringing this information out, having an educational platform with spiritual education, with alternative diets, off the grid work, our community, looking into inner development, looking into extraterrestrial awareness, right? The list goes on and on and on. So we're going to be looking into a lot of different things: astrology, magic, etc., etc., right? So there'll be a lot of open opportunity for people to come in and just start to share their videos and, of course, assist in being teachers. And then, of course, we will have, down the road, have a lot more classrooms to offer, and, of course, down the road, having a lot more webinars with these certain teachers that may be available as well, too. So, again, it's a big, big dream. So just doing what I can to put it together. So, again, New Earth Academy is in the works. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for being here today. So we're going to go ahead and start just a discussion with universal healing, or universal energy healing in that way. So there's been a lot of strides since I've been working with light circuitry attunements. I'm also working on developing it much more on an advanced level as well too. So there may be a light circuitry attunement level 3 coming pretty soon. Right now there is level 1 and level 2. Level 1 basically works with developing how to release your energy, how to develop your energy, and how to work on releasing energy that doesn't serve. Level 2 would basically work on transmuting that energy and being able to empower your body with it. And level 3, which is again still in development right now, would work a lot more with seals. And so that's kind of what the energy seals webinar is all about. But really, one of the biggest strengths when we're looking into universal energy healing is that it's not always about diet, it's not always about food, it's not always about exercise. Again, that's important. But really, when we're looking into universal energy healing, we're looking into being able to work with the emotional states, to work with the traumas. And this is really where the work with light circuitry attunement has come together. I have been inspired by a couple other energy healers as well too in the past. The person known as Lester Levinson once created a technique called the release technique, and I've even tried that as well too, and it was quite effective. But basically, the release technique works to minimize certain forms of harsh situations, emotional states in that way. It doesn't always provide, a complete and total rejuvenation and transcendence of that energy. There is also another fellow, his name escapes me, but basically he has developed what's known as the PEAT technique, P-E-A-T. I believe he's in Croatia or something of that nature. And I was finding out a little bit about him as I was starting to develop light circuitry attunements as well. And his technique is really, really powerful. So if you basically type in the PEAT technique, P-E-A-T, really, really incredible work that he does. He works a lot with like the EFT. He works with stimulating acupressure points as well. And then, of course, doing like a lot of negotiation with a person and helping to dissolve and transmute the trauma altogether. So it's quite fascinating work. So again, it's called the PEAT technique. So basically with light circuitry attunements, when I'm looking into this, I'm always looking to see if we can do something even more simple and, of course, having a lot of advanced effects. Basically, when we're looking into universal healing, we're working with how a person is feeling using a scale, right, from 0 to 10, and just getting an idea of saying, well, how intense is this trauma, or how not intense is this particular trauma, and being able to work with them through guided meditation. Some of it also has like neuro-linguistic programming within it as well too. Some of it also has hypnosis qualities to it as well too, but it really is its own system. And so for the past, I'd say, year and a half, almost 2 years now, I've been doing the light circuitry attunements with hundreds of people all over the world, and it has really been profoundly effective. So universal healing comes from the ability of us working with our emotions and working with our traumas. We can certainly work to build up our chi. We can go into internal martial arts. We can go into internal healing work, like with Tai Chi or like with Qigong. Again, martial arts as well. And being able to become very aware of the energy that we're developing. And again, it's just about being able to feel it flow, right? So if you're just closing your eyes and you're holding your hands out, you can create like a chi ball. And all of you can do that right now too if you want. You're just creating a chi ball right now, and you're just feeling the magnetic energy that's flowing through. Now just imagine that you're putting some colored light into it. Let's say, for example, that it is pink light, right? Pink light is all about a loving energy vibrational frequency. And so now just feeling this joyful energy that you're getting from within your heart, and you're just feeling that pink light as a representation of that loving, joyful energy. And you're just flowing it into this chi ball and just filling it with that love. And you can even expand your hands a little bit more, expand the chi ball to where you still feel a little bit of that magnetic coherency. I do qigong every day, so the energy for me feels pretty expansive. And you can even just start to go in, again taking a deep breath out, taking a deep breath in, expanding, deep breath out, contracting, expanding, and contracting. And now that you're just putting all of this love energy, this pink energy ray, into the chi ball, now again you can just take another deep breath in and out, and you're just condensing it into something that would be about the size of a baseball. And you're just basically holding it into your hand, and as you are, you're just scanning your body now to get an impression about where you feel this energy could best be used. And for me, I'm feeling it in the abdomen, so I'm just placing it into the abdomen area, just to where the small intestines are. And I'm just feeling that pink chi ball bond with the small intestines. And as that connects with the small intestines, I'm just taking a deep breath in, deep breath out, and then I say out loud, seal. As I say seal, I'm just turning my hand this way, like I'm locking it. Okay. Then, in Qigong terms, we refer to this as Shaogong. Doing 3 of these. Bringing the heavenly energy into the earthly energy and allowing the energy to settle. And that is just a very simple technique, utilizing your own joyful feelings and utilizing a color ray frequency like pink light. Okay, very, very simple. That's all it takes. So the more joyful the feeling, the more ecstatic you feel. And it's almost kind of like emotional magic in that way, that if you want to cast a spell, you're basically working with deep emotional elation in that way. Some people will work together with like a sexual orgasm. Some people will work with ecstaticness. Some people may even work together with exhaustion in that way, though I really wouldn't recommend that because, again, that can show certain forms of fatigue. But you're basically just bringing in a very strong burst of emotional energy that is helping to fill that joyful connection into the chi ball, and that is represented as pink light from what I can see visually within my mind. And then with all of that emotional energy behind it, that again is great elation, great excitement, just great bliss, even if it's even just a state of great humility, right? And you're feeling it very, very strongly. You're putting all of that energy into the chi sphere, and then you're placing it into the area of the body where you feel it needs it the most. And this is how you can have a really incredible healing experience. It's being able to take our emotions and transmute them and put them into energy, making them no longer the aspect of just kind of hanging around the body and even creating certain levels of stagnancy. We're basically taking that intense emotional energy, we're directing it into, again, a chi ball, working with color ray vibration, putting it together and placing it into an area of the body. And just afterwards, you just kind of mellow out, you let yourself settle. You could probably even do a little bit of light stretching or anything of like subtle energy. But then you're going to start feeling this energy come alive within yourself, and you'll just feel that maybe something that was stiff or achy or sore before is now starting to feel a lot better. But one of the things as well too, especially when you're doing universal energy healing, is that you're not just going to go out and run a marathon as soon as you do a healing upon yourself, right? You want to give yourself time, again, to be delicate and subtle with yourself, giving yourself time to work on that energy, allow that energy to cultivate within the body. And usually I would say the best time to do it is right before you're about to go to bed, right? So just before you go to sleep, maybe do a nice calming meditation, relaxing your mind, calming your mind, letting the thought flow. Just be very, very still, be very, very subtle. And then you can start working together with the emotional energy to bringing in, again, pink light, blue light, whatever you feel a light vibration is appropriate for you to work with, and then applying that into your chi ball and being able to connect with it in that way. So this is what I've done a lot for quite a few years, and it's really helped. I used to do distant healing with people as well too, but I've always felt that my ability to work with a person in that form of healing has always been better in person. So this is why light circuitry attunements is distant, but again, it works much more effectively because I'm just being a guide and informing people what to do to help to clear out these particular traumas. And so that's again what makes light circuitry attunements very unique, is that I go very deeply into the source of what that person's trauma is. And right afterwards, I can say about 98% of the clients that I've had who have done light circuitry attunements have felt incredible effects afterwards. And it really just is all upon you. If you feel that you're able to work with these energies and harmonize with them, and being able to go step by step through the guided process of light circuitry attunement, you're going to have an incredible instantaneous healing effect that the light circuitry attunement is going to bring. So again, I'm really excited about sharing the energy seals webinar, because that's going to talk a lot more about it. So that is basically all I wanted to share about with universal energy healing, just being able to work together with it in your own way. Even with my channeling course that's now out, you can go to channelingcourse.com, and this is the channeling development course. And what the channeling development course teaches you is not just channeling, but it also teaches psychic and intuitive development, and it also teaches channeled healing. And channeled healing as well too has a process just similar to what you saw. But you're also working to develop how to detect chaotic energy within subtle body, right? So that is there as well too. And of course we look into colored healing also, and of course even some demonstration factors about how you can work with channeled healing. Channeled healing in that sense is very unique and it's self-explorative, but as long as you understand the basic outline of how it works, again, can be really, really effective. So channelingcourse.com if you want to check that out, and it's a monthly subscription service, again, kind of like a Netflix, but there's almost about 20 hours worth of teachings from the Adronis phase courses and through all of the material that's contained originally for the channeling development course. So you go ahead and check that out. There's a lot of information there for you to enjoy. Okay, so why don't we go ahead now and move into Q&A. I'm going to be doing kind of a short broadcast tonight, as I'm just still getting things settled in this new place and doing a little bit more work behind the scenes. So I'm going to go ahead and just take a look to see if we have any questions here from anybody. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here once again. Okay, so here's one from Pernila. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Does the method light circuit bring up the subconscious to our awareness, or is it only working on the blueprint level? Well, a light circuit is working together with sealing the energy in. So it basically has to do with a formation of both in that way. It helps to work together with the subconscious, but really how it's used in the light circuitry attunements is that it's a seal. It's basically creating a chakra. And basically what this chakra seal does is it holds in all of the refined energy that has been produced through the session and placed into an organ or organs. And so basically what we're doing with the light circuitry itself is that we're basically using it as a seal, placing it into the organ and being able to do a special type of affirmation for it, and then being able to seal it in. And it works together in a full moon cycle. So basically 28, or as I just put it in a roundup figure, 30 days. After 30 days, that seal naturally expires, and then all of the energy that you have placed into that organ is now fully ingrained into it. And again, this is done simply because to avoid leakages, right? So there's not any particular leakages as it may relate to other emotional states. If something happens or some other situation occurs, then you're not leaking that energy out through any other particular form of emotional entanglement. So basically what the seal does is it keeps it in there. It's like it's just locking it inside a sphere in that way, and that way it cannot leak, right? So that's basically what the light circuitry does in the second version of the light circuitry attunements. In the first version, it related to storing positive energy, storing negative energy, bringing them together and creating a balance circuit, and then being able to balance those two energies together and transmute it, with the third circuit being the prism that's helping to realign all of that energy all together. So that's level one. Level 2, again, is being able to take that energy and transmute it and refine it and put it into an organ or organs of the body. And the light circuit is a seal. It locks it in there for a full moon cycle. And then after that span of time, that energy will be completely ingrained into your body. So that's primarily how it works. But yes, light circuitry when I first started it used to work together with the subconscious and help to identify areas within one's own matrix that needed work as well too. I would also formerly use light circuitry when I was doing Akashic readings as well too. I would basically look at a person's photo, have their full name here, perhaps even their birth date, and then I would just instantaneously create a light circuit algorithm, or otherwise just referred to as an ideogram. And then I was able to connect with their energy right away and just start getting information flowing in that way. Now I basically use that with a spiral, like with the spiral Akashic viewings. So I basically just draw out a spiral within my mind as I'm connecting with that person's energy. Bam, information starts coming in, and then I go right into the flow. So again, even just creating something like a spiral in the way that I've developed it is kind of like a light circuit in that way too. So again, light circuit can really just be anything. It's just a matter about what comes to you in the moment that you want to use as that ideogram, as that specific Akashic diagram to retrieve the information that comes together. This is why when they teach remote viewing, they do something similar to what I've just described. But again, of course, they call it an ideogram, and it's like a little box here. And so you just put your name, you put the date, the time of your reading, and then you may have like a little reference number that's random, so to speak. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You just write that down. All of a sudden, you go to the box of the ideogram, and in half a second, you just create this little algorithm, and it's like a zip file. And now you're able to instantaneously write down all this information without thinking, right? And that's what I do in Akashic Records. I don't think. All of it comes in right through flow. So as soon as that spiral comes in, or as soon as that light circuit comes in, bam, I'm running with the flow. I'm letting the flow come in, and just letting the information come to me. So it's, again, very, very exciting. But that's all it takes. It's a very, very simple process. With light circuitry attunement, again, there's a whole method to it, a whole guided meditation to it. But again, light circuitry works together as a seal. Okay? Thank you, Pernilla, for your question. All right. So we're just going to go down. If you guys do have any questions, feel free to ask. Okay, Pernilla asks again, do you need your hands, or can you do it only mentally with your emotions? It would depend upon the person. Some people may want to do it with their hands because that may help them in that way. With the light circuits, I just had a piece of paper down, a pen, and I would just start, quote-unquote, scribbling out the light circuit, and then I'd put the pen down, and then I'd start receiving the information. Some people can adeptly just see a symbol in their mind, and basically they're saying, okay, I'm talking to Joe Smith, and this is his name, his full name, this is his birth date, and I ask for the Akashic symbol that allows me to access his Akashic records now. So maybe they see like a triangle with a dot here, dot here, dot here, dot here, right? And then they see lines coming together. All of a sudden now they're getting information, right? So a symbol is just a subconscious algorithm that you're receiving that helps you to interlock to the connection of one's own Akashic records done through permission, right? And then you start getting that information. So that can be done writing it down. That can be done, scribbling it in the air. That can be done visually throughout your own mind as well, too. It just all depends upon the person. It's under the person's discretion. So, yes, all of that can happen. Thank you again. Okay, Penilla's asking other questions here today, guys. Penilla asks again, I have tried to get an answer to know the difference between magic and science. This energetic world, is magic only manipulation of energy or something more else? Science is known magic. Magic is unknown science. You could look at it in that particular way, right? Because science is just that to which you have developed a kinship, a relationship, a connection relating to a certain technique, and now you're being able to experiment with it in many different ways. Magic would be the idea of something that could not yet be understood, but it's basically the pure subconscious. We could look at the surreal. Now, as I've talked about before, all knowledge comes from darkness, and basically that is because we're looking at the raw flow of energy. that relates to that darkness where the knowledge has been undisciplined. Where there is undisciplined knowledge where you can basically just do whatever the heck you want with it, and nothing has really been disciplined or centered in harmony with it, then that remains together in shadow. And basically when you take that knowledge and now you're refining it and you're realizing exactly how it can best serve you, how it's working together with yourself, how it feels like you've stripped away all the unnecessities of that shadow that was once there, you now find the diamond inside the charcoal, right? So it's kind of like you're breaking apart the charcoal, which is all the darkness, right? And now you're seeing this shining diamond coming inside. Now you're working upon yourself, you're refining yourself, you're harmonizing with yourself, and now that diamond can come loose from the charcoal. So what you've basically done is that you've gone through the shadows, you've gone through the darkness to completely transmute it so that it can now become this refined diamond shining with light, right? So light has nothing to teach you. Light is just the result of the effect of refinement that you have discovered through knowledge, right? So that's how wisdom is born, right? So you can look at darkness as knowledge. You can look at light as wisdom. Wisdom is just the result of the effect. And this is what I would say to anybody who's been a channel, who's been able to connect with their guides as well too. Do you ever notice that when you're connecting with these very illuminated beings, they don't really have any quote-unquote knowledge to share with you? They're only showing you what they are. They're showing you about what they've become. And they're giving you very, very, very simple messages about what you can do to become in the alignment with them, right? And they don't give you, textbooks, stacks of information. That doesn't happen with them because they are a result of a refinement. And that's why they come in, and sometimes they may only be very, very brief when they come in. They're only letting you know about this refinement that they have become, which is a part of you, right? So you're looking at yourself with these particular illuminated beings standing directly in front of you. Because again, you're still seeing yourself in that aspect of feeling small, right? And they're trying to tell you, don't see us bigger than you, right? See us as yourself, rather than feeling, oh my goodness, there's this big, 6-density Arcturian being that's in front of me, and they're just brilliant lights and all kinds of violet and silver light, and it's beautiful to look at them. But again, that's creating the ability of you feeling small, right? And they don't want you to look at them in that way, saying, this is who you are. This is your natural essence. This is what we represent. We represent the way. We're the Tao for you, right? And as you start to realize this, you're now working to refine yourself to, again, break down that charcoal, that really, really hard substance, rock hard, and being able to break it up and being able to refine that charcoal. So now, when it becomes refined, it reveals the diamond inside. And that's basically how knowledge works, right? So all knowledge comes from darkness. And when you basically start to refine it, you're bringing it into the light. So everything we know, everything we've done, from language, from mathematics, from our science, from our technology, all emerged from darkness. We had to refine it to decide exactly what it will do for ourselves that feels authentic. And then that brings it into wisdom. And that is the diamond that we discover. Okay? So hope that makes sense. All right, moving on. Okay, Stacy asks, can you explain the next step in meditation to expect after feeling a rotation? I know it was something to do with our Merkabah. I believe you're referring to like Merkabah meditation in that particular way. So being able to explain the next step in meditation to expect a feeling in rotation. The whole idea is really just be still. Just be still and don't have any particular thoughts. If you're working together, for example, with a Merkabah meditation, and I do have a Merkabah meditation series on my website as well too. If you're working with that, basically the earliest steps to working with the Merkabah meditation is firstly getting yourself calm, getting yourself into the alignment, and being able to feel this Merkabah within you, right? And you can, first of all, if you want, you can start experimenting. You can start rotating the top hemisphere of the star tetrahedron, and then you can start rotating the bottom in an opposite direction as well too, and then you're just getting used to the flow about how the rotation works. But as you do this more and more, you won't have to do any kind of quote-unquote conscious controlling. You'll basically just say, in that sense, I would like to connect with the higher dimension of the Akashic records, for example. And now you just get yourself still, you get yourself calm, and you'll just feel that the star tetrahedron around you will start rotating automatically at its own speed and pitch, so to speak, to bringing you into that particular dimension. And that's all I did. I was playing around with the Merkabah first, and then I started to just have faith relating to where I feel I could access different dimensions. And so I just basically talked to the Merkabah and said, all right, I would like to explore the Akashic Records. Started feeling it spinning, and it's almost kind of like it vanished, like it didn't even need to be there. It just started spinning, and then it kind of faded out. And then I just felt myself becoming immersed in the Akashic Records, getting some types of visual aspects, but just a feeling of knowing that I was there, and a feeling of connecting to whatever it is I wanted to connect with. In the beginning, I started that form of meditation, but it wasn't with a Merkabah. It was kind of like I was in a maze, and I was going into these kind of deep, first-person experiences, going into these mazes, looking at these kind of hovering crystal balls that were illuminated, putting my hands on them because I had no idea what they were, and I just started to feel like electricity flowing through my body as soon as I started touching these orbs. And I'm still feeling the effects from that nearly 10 years ago, up to now, right? This is something that just doesn't, go like this, and all of a sudden everything that's coming in. If we were basically looking at it as a 1,000-page encyclopedia that would represent that information, maybe I've gone past the first couple of words in that gigantic encyclopedia. It takes a lifetime. It may even take several lifetimes for one to truly understand all of the downloads that they receive. It's like a ribbon of the universal knowledge is coming through you all at once, and you're only able to get little bits and glimpses here of what you're able to access. But the Akashic Records is for everybody. Everybody knows how to do it. And the thing is that I notice with a lot of people is that they're always looking through technique. And guys, it's not always about technique. It's about essence. It's about feeling your connection as one with the Akashic Records, or different dimensional universal libraries. And all you're really doing is just getting yourself into stillness, into subtlety. How do we work together with Akashic information? Akashic information is subtle energy. In order for you to access subtle energy, you must become subtle yourself. So rest yourself. Get yourself into a state of center. Align yourself, right? If you want to connect with healing understandings, or again, looking more into your own personal Akasha, or if you have permission from somebody else to look into their Akasha as well too, you have the ability to do that, but it requires a very serene mind, right? Get yourself into a state of serenity, get yourself calm, don't worry so much about technique, right? Just work on the essence, feel it. If we put technique before substance, we're putting the cart before the horse, right? It's not about technique. Let the substance decide what technique is appropriate for you if you want to look at it in that particular way. But all I have really done is just sat down, got nice and comfortable, and felt my intention to connect with, for example, the Akashic Records, and the information came through. When I first started channeling Adronis, I just tethered myself to Sirius, and I connected with his energy, and I just said, hello, who am I speaking with? And then, I am Adronis of Sirius. I'm a version of you 297 years in the future. I've come back at this time to share information with you relating to the development of your spiritual evolution. And the good news is that as you start to spiritually develop yourself, you will be taking others with you along the way, right? All of that information just streamed instantaneously. I wasn't doing any kind of magic technique. I wasn't doing any kind of super, ultra duper difficult technique, right? I knew that this was real. I basically put the confidence in myself to make this happen. It's not a magic technique. You have to really feel this as a deep knowingness. It's not just about belief. It's going beyond the belief and making this into a certainty that this is what's happening, that you are connecting with an entity. Whether it's someone like Adronis or connecting into the Akashic Library, and being able to get all this information. Trust it. Work with your imagination as an ally. That's all you have to do. It really is very, very simple. All of this stuff, everything pertaining to spirituality, ladies and gentlemen, it's super simple, right? It's not difficult. None of this is difficult at all. Even if you look at a lot of the great teachers and gurus and yogis, and they all say this is the most easiest thing that you can ever do. But we complicate the living hell out of it, right? Because we're too intellectual. We're too in here. and we're not enough in here. We're looking too much at the five sense reality. We're looking too much at the material world. And that's what taints your ability to connect to your inner world even more. You put too much faith and too much stock into the external world. And that's where you have problems, right? This is why people have a hard time trying to go inside, because they're expecting something to be hard, solid, physical, tangible in that way. It's not to say that you can't have practical aspects working with your inner self, but don't just look for only the practical. Right? You're looking at things that are very, very surreal, and it's all about metaphor, it's all about imagery, it's all about analogy, and you want to look deeply into that. You want to work with your intuition, and when you start having an alliance with your intuition is going to tell you all about these particular types of analogies, images that come together relating to perhaps your dreams, meditative visions that you have, synchronicities that come within your reality. That's all I do. I look at these synchronicities, I look at these things happening, I look at my dreams. Sometimes I'll record them, sometimes my dreams are just plain silly and I accept them as such, right? But if I know that there's a message in the dream, then I will tap into my intuition and start bringing out information to what that represents, right? And I've done dream interpretations for people as well too. It's very, very simple. Just once you start letting your intuition come in and less of the ego mind, harmonize the ego, integrate it with yourself. It's not about blowing it up or escaping or ignoring it. It's about being able to integrate it, make it your best friend, and make it a part of yourself. And that way, that's how you transcend the aspect of an old ego. As I've said a few weeks ago, that the Brad Johnson character really is no more, and that's true, right? I still refer to myself as Brad Johnson, but I'm not, so tainted up into the idea, or so buffed up to the idea of feeling that there's an image that I have to follow or anything of that nature. I'm just very, very flexible to whatever life gives. And that's, again, being able to work together with an integrating ego. Do I still have more work to do? Of course. But that's, again, the process that I'm going through right now. So it's a lot of fun. Sharanjeet asks, how do you know if you are meditating properly? Sometimes I feel I release and let go, but loose awareness, so maybe I'm falling asleep. Well, if you fall asleep, then you fall asleep, right? But basically the whole idea is that you're still putting fatigue into this aspect, right? It's actually causing your mind to wander a little bit, and your mind wanders so much that it wants to fall asleep because it still feels it has to do something in that state of meditation. So really the whole idea is that you just want to be centered, you just want to be focused. Just take in this moment right now, wherever you are, right? If you're sitting in your kitchen, you're sitting in your living room, you're sitting in a chair, just take in the sights, right? Just close your eyes and just be here. Don't worry about imagination. Don't worry about visualization. Don't worry about any of that. Just connect here and now and just feel this moment, right? That's it. Just feel it. Don't worry about thinking that you need to have your pineal glands supercharged or your visualization supercharged or clairaudience supercharged, etc. Let all that go. Have no expectations upon yourself. Have no expectations about where you feel you have to take yourself. Just be here and just be present and feel this moment. And as you're there, you won't fall asleep, right? You're just going to feel this connection and this bliss, right? Because all meditation is conscious sleep. All sleep is unconscious meditation, right? So basically you just want to relax yourself, center yourself, let go of the thoughts. If thoughts are coming in, that's fine. Let them stream through you without attaching to them into any particular way, right? It's very easy to meditate. But really the whole key is just being able to just be aware of this moment. Just take it in. You don't have to do anything, but just be a part of it, okay? Hope that helps. Okay. John asks, I understand that we travel through these lives in a so-called group or tribe. How do guides fit into this matrix? Well, guides are basically teachers for you. They are basically, as they say they are guides, right? So basically here's the thing, is that guides become liaisons for your higher self. If one is not able to connect directly to the higher self, the guides will come in, right? So there will be an aspect of that higher self that comes through as a guide that is helping you to develop yourself further, right? So basically some people are able to go right into their higher self. Some people are going right to source and connecting to that energy because they've developed themselves, perhaps in this lifetime or lifetimes previous, where they've been able to do that, right? Connecting right to your source consciousness. when other people may be having challenges with that, they will have guides. So it's kind of like looking at tutors in a classroom. Right, you have your main teacher, and your main teacher is giving off these assignments. You may not be able to take care of these assignments as well because you want to still be familiar with how the aspect or substance works in that way. And so you'll have guides that will come in and basically tutor you. They will help with the process to helping you connect with the higher self, or helping you to connect with source consciousness, helping you to move more into elevated states of awareness, where you're not constantly battling or conflicting with yourself, right? So they are tutors, and that's basically what guides represent. They will be a part of your physical plane. Some people are able to connect with their guide just as naturally as they're able to talk to their best friend, right? Their guide can just pop in, and they can start having a conversation. And basically these guides are just working to helping you grow, to helping you prosper, and move further into a deeper consciousness, right? To a deeper consciousness understanding. And so the so-called group or tribe in that way is a part of your soul matrix, that you will be a part of a certain group as you start, right? So this may say, for example, you have a certain mother, a certain father, a certain brother, some best friends, etc. And that's your soul group circle, right? As you start to evolve and transform yourself, becoming even more of yourself, you'll notice that you may start to leave that soul group and come into a brand new soul group in that particular way that represents your current state of being relating to connection, right? So that's basically how it works, is we only have a soul group up to a point to where the lessons of that soul group are still running. Once they have been graduated from, you move from one soul group to another, right? And then this soul group has a different theme attached to it. And then you start exploring that theme, and over time, you may start to prosper past that theme. Then you go into another soul group in that sense. So basically, with the people that we're with in this lifetime, when we come in as infants, we can basically just be with those particular soul groups for a certain amount of time. As we develop ourselves and we start to transcend the aspect of the patterns of that group, then we move into different groups. So it's kind of like looking at clusters of snowflakes, right? Once we're able to harmonize with those patterns of clusters, then we move into something else that's more appropriate. So our unique pattern as a snowflake starts to change, and now we need to fit another pattern somewhat similar to our own pattern, and then it starts to continuously migrate in that way. So that's really all that soul groups entail. But again, spirit guides will work together with you in such soul groups, and even your spirit guides can change as well too, because maybe you had an old soul group or a spirit guide in that soul group named Bert, right? And Bert's done all he can to help you out in that way. You're progressing really, really fast. You're doing well. You're transcending yourself. You're moving into complement relating to your own spiritual development. And now Bert doesn't need to be with you anymore. You move into a new soul group, and now here's Harry, right? Now Harry is your new spirit guide for this soul group because of your graduation that you meet, right? That's basically how it works, is that spirit guides are constantly changing as you move from soul group to soul group based upon your own advancement. Okay, hope that helps you. Okay, so I'm just gonna see if we can find anybody else who hasn't asked a question yet. Okay, here's one from Fiona. Is this similar to John Velo Melchizedek teaching of creating a Merkabah? I do it in my own unique way. I haven't actually witnessed John Velo and what he does relating to the Merkabah, so I couldn't tell you. I don't know what he does. But basically, again, if you go into the Merkabah meditation series, it's kind of like going into void, right? And you're basically being able to bring these two hemispheres together, but not forcefully. You basically start to work with the top hemisphere, and then you can work with the bottom hemisphere, and then they eventually come together. So I do it in my own unique way. So I'm not too familiar with what John Velo does with his own heart meditation, so I couldn't tell you. Okay, so I think we're going to end on this question. Rafaela, I believe, asks, I've been seeing 11, 22, 33, 44, 55, and so on. Does this mean anything? Well, it means different things for different people in that way. But basically, when you're looking at master numbers, they represent different calibrations. as you're developing yourself. Some people will see like an 11:11 on the clock, and 11:11 basically represents the opening of a new gateway, right? An old gateway is closing behind a person, and a new gateway is opening up. So it's letting you know of the retirement of certain themes that are in relationship to those master numbers that you're no longer having to go through, and it's shifting you into different dimensions of expressions and experiences, right? Everything within this reality is based upon number, right? Numerical codes. It's programming, right? So as we start experiencing these programs of master numbers, and maybe our addresses, maybe our birth dates that we see as well too, we notice that maybe a day or so later something has changed, right? Now we're maybe moving into a new career. Maybe we have a new friend that's coming together. Maybe we have a new innovation to start something, a new project in that way. That's letting you know that these master numbers are sequencing you or shifting you into different realities, different dimensions, where new possibilities, opportunities are being available to you, and you're no longer playing with those old paradigms. So one gate behind you closes, a new gate in front of you opens, and the aspect of the number, depending upon the person and their situation, will determine new events that are coming together in your life. Okay, so that's basically kind of the sum up relating to that. So I want to thank you, everybody, for all of your questions tonight for this episode of the Reality Whisperer. Oh my God, did I say Reality? Oh, that's still in my mind. The New Earth Teachings Webcast on Facebook Live. So thank you very much for being a part of it, and I will speak to you all next week. So again, I'm going to be here on Facebook Live every Thursday night at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. So again, remember to check out the Universal Energy Healing Weekend coming up the weekend after next, again with energy seals and universal energy healing with Jason Quidd as well too. So I'm really looking forward to that, and I hope to see many of you there. So again, you can check that out on newearthteachings.com. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll wrap up the show for tonight, and I'll talk to you all next week. May it be well with you. Namaste. Take care.